Alrighty, it says I'm live. Good morning. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for December 10th. December 10th is the 344th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 345th in leap years, with 21 days remaining to the end of the year. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes below. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and feel free to share this video with others. You can do that with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. There's also a link in the show. Well, let's see. I don't have my show notes up yet, but I will put them up as soon as the live's over. There's a link in the show notes to my This Day in History playlist, and I'll also put it up in the corner there. Alrighty, and with that, we are going to start with the birthday of Honshu, Emperor of the Chen Dynasty, born December 10th in the year 553. He lived to the age of 51. On December 10th, 1520, Martin Luther burned his copy of the papal bull Exsurge Domini outside Wittenberg's Elster Gate. Well, first of all, for anyone who doesn't know what a papal bull is, because I didn't know until I started doing research, papal means it was issued by the Pope, and bull is named after the seal or bulla that was affixed to the work in order to prove its authenticity. You could think of it sort of like an executive order, only it's issued by the head of the Catholic Church instead of by the president of any country. Exsurge Domini was the name of this particular papal bull, and that means, "Arise, O Lord." It was written in response to the teachings of Martin Luther, and his teachings opposed the views of the church. If you happen to be young enough to have heard of Martin Luther King Jr., but maybe haven't heard of Martin Luther, they are definitely two different individuals. Martin Luther King Jr. was named after Martin Luther. Anyway, Martin Luther had created a paper called 95 Theses, and the Pope wrote this bull to express severe disapproval of a number of the propositions put forth by Martin Luther, and to threaten Martin Luther with excommunication if he didn't, you better take it back. They call that recant. They wanted him to recant within 60 days of the issuance of this papal bull. Gave him 2 months to take it back, but oh boy, didn't he not only not take it back, he wrote more documents lashing out at the papacy and publicly burned this copy of the bull, as I mentioned earlier. And of course, he was excommunicated in 1521. Now, did I say what day that happened? There's a lot of stuff here. That happened. He burned his copy of the papal bull on December 10th, 1520. All righty, next item. Now, back when I was a kid, years before the internet, way before the internet, before anybody ever thought about anything like the internet, if we wanted to do any research, we were either going to go to the library and look through card catalogs and books and whatnot, or we might be lucky enough to have a set of encyclopedias in our home. The big name in encyclopedias was Encyclopedia Britannica, and the very first edition of Encyclopedia Britannica was published on December 10th, 1756. France adopted the meter as its official unit of length on December 10th, 1799. Mississippi became the 20th U.S. state on December 10th, 1817. This is the birthday of poet Emily Dickinson, born December 10th, 1830. She was a prolific writer, but not much of her work was published during her lifetime. She was practically unknown during her lifetime. She never married. She became reclusive as she grew older, declining to meet guests or even leave the house, and eventually she would barely even leave her room. It wasn't really until after she passed away when her younger sister discovered her writings and set about to have them published. And that's pretty much how we know anything about Emily Dickinson at all. Emily Dickinson lived to the age of 55. Mark Twain's book, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, was published on December 10th, 1884. The first Nobel Prize ceremony was held on December 10th, 1901 in Stockholm on the 5th anniversary of Albert Nobel's death. On December 10th, 1906, President Theodore Roosevelt won the Nobel Prize for his role in the mediation of the Russo-Japanese War, becoming the first American to win a Nobel Prize. Thailand became a constitutional monarchy on December 10th, 1932. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. Always do. That research is actually kind of fun to do. If you enjoyed this series, remember that there will be a link to the playlist below, and then I'll also put one up in the iCard in the corner. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure and give it a like, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.